I'm going on a 4,000-mile road trip. And I got to asking myself, I just got this new Tesla. It has free supercharging. And I still have my Ford Lightning, which I've done several trips with and I really, really love. But I'm like, which one should I take? So I'm going to actually show you now a little test I did last weekend with this Tesla. I'm going to test this out and make sure that it actually could work possibly for a road trip before I even factor it in. And I'll come right back. So I'm going to show you that right now, and I'm going to come right back and we're going to talk about the differences between these two vehicles on a road trip. Alrighty, guys and gals, it is road trip test day. Not with my Ford Lightning, but with this Tesla. And you might be asking, why are you doing a test instead of just going on a road trip? Because Teslas are awesome. You should do what they call trust the car, all that kind of stuff. Well, this is my very first time I've actually tested this out. So honestly, we have to go on a 3,000 or 4,000 mile road trip here soon. And I just want to be comfortable that this is going to work. What we're going to do is we're going to actually go to Buc-ee's. If y'all never been to a Buc-ee's, it is awesome. You should check out some other videos. I've stopped at those on a road trip. So the only Buc-ee's that I know of in the area is actually about 120 miles north of Colorado Springs and north of Denver. So I'm just going to head up there and we're going to actually see how well this handles. I'm going to program in the destination. Buc-ee's has Tesla chargers. We're going to test several things. We're going to test whether or not it actually does what it says it does, where it basically prepares the battery for charging. And we're going to test and see what the actual charging rate is. But what I did is I actually charged it up to 100% because I'm testing this out for the road trip. I want to actually see how many miles it actually says the battery has on it. And then we're going to look at that. We're going to look at how everything handles on a road trip and how it compares to my Ford Lightning. I have several videos about different road trips. I got stuck in snowstorms. I ran out of battery, all that kind of stuff. So check that out for my Ford Lightning. But we're going to check this out and see how well it actually does. I'm actually looking forward to it because, with Ford, you have to plan everything out. But Tesla, they're supposedly planning it out for you. So we're going to test that out, see how that works. So one of the ways you actually know whether or not it is, if you could see that, so it's not flashing. That's how you know it's fully charged. It's just green. So green usually means that it's charging, but when it's not flashing green, that means it's not charging anymore. It's just there. And the other reason why I left it plugged in is that's kind of what I did with my truck. I kind of figured the battery actually works better whenever it's left plugged in. All right, so let's get in here and let's see how many miles it says, and then we'll get on the road. First of all, let's unplug this. So we just got to unlock the charging port in here. So click on that and unlock charging port. If you look there, it says 99%. So it was supposed to be at 100, but I guess it was not. Oh well, this is interesting and actually went down 1% while I was getting everything ready. So I don't know. We'll see how well it does. Gonna get that camera started. So it's just really interesting to me that I got it up to 100%, but it very quickly went down to 99. Just getting everything ready to go for our little road trip here. And if you notice, it actually says, charging repeatedly beyond daily driving needs will shorten battery life. Would you like to lower the charge limit? I'm going to say yes right now because we normally just have it at 80, and that's what we're going to do there. Look at that. Last paid charging testing, $0. So again, this is free supercharging. So it's one of the reasons why I'm actually really excited about taking it on a road trip. All right, so right before we leave, I want to actually show you something here that's kind of cool with actually being able to see how many miles it is saying that this thing has on a full charge. So again, it's 99%. So we're going to change this to my Lightning mic settings. Okay. And then we are going to reset a trip here. It has 139,000 miles, in case you're wondering. This is how many miles since we first bought it. So we're going to actually reset trip A. Okay, so trip A is reset. So just remember trip A, that's what we're going to test and see how many miles it actually gets. But right now, I have it set on percentage, so 99%. So I'm going to show you how to actually change that where it doesn't show percentage, it actually shows miles. So basically you go into display right here, and then energy display, it says percentage and distance. So you could do rated or ideal. So we're going to say rated because I want to know it's rated for 231. So I actually want to see how rated does. But then when I click over on ideal, next button right here, it's saying 292. So ideal would be 292, which is a lot. And rated is 231. So we're going to go with rated because that's probably more accurate. So we'll go with rated. We're going to see how well it does. You could change miles to kilometers here. You could change the temperature to Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. And then you can actually change the PSI down here. You can have a bar on there instead of the numbers. That's kind of cool. So that's what's going on. That's how you do that with the display. All right, I drove to one of my favorite little parks near my house, and I just wanted to make this the actual starting point. This is still saying 231 miles right there. And what we're going to do is we are going to navigate to Buc-ee's. So we're going to say this one right here, and we're going to navigate there. Buc-ee's gas station. It's technically in Johnstown, right by Loveland, and it is saying that we are going to have 41%, and it is 128 miles. So that's pretty good, actually. If that's the case, then I'm going to be comfortable with taking this on a road trip, because driving 128 miles, still having 41%, means this battery is actually doing pretty good. So remember that 128 miles is what it says, and we're going to have 41%. So remember that 41%. We're going to actually see how it does and whether or not it actually is going to work for us. One thing I do probably want to do is, let's see if we can add that charging, the supercharging station. Add a stop. Let's do charging station, and we're gonna actually, it's weird that it tells me to skip through Denver. Probably won't do that because that's gonna take me on a toll road. Let's see if it actually allows me to redo the directions and skip the toll road. Settings, trip planner, avoid tolls. So we're going to change the navigation. We can change volume there. You can do HOV lanes, avoid ferries, avoid highways, third-party charging stations. I have that turned off since I do free supercharging. So now let's see if it allows me. Now it's saying it's going to be 48% whenever we get up there, and 115 miles. Okay, so keep that in mind, and we're going to add a stop, and we're going to add the charging station there. So normally it's going to tell you where to charge. This is the reason why they don't want me to go through Denver. There are other ways to go. I could come up here on 225, which I might do that in order to skip the traffic. All right. Anyways, so I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to skip it and see if it redirects me, see how it does. So right there is supercharging there. So I'm going to tell it, that way it properly plans. So I'm going to add that stop. So that way it'll properly plan the supercharging. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another stop coming all the way back here. So we're going to add another stop to another charging station right up here. We're going to stop there, and we're going to add that stop. So we're not going to do that one first. Edit trip. Okay, so this one is going to come down here. That's how you adjust it. You do edit trip and you move them around. I'm discovering this too. So we're first going to go to the charging station, which is right there at the Buc-ee's, and we're going to put that in. there you have it. So it's going to go up there. We're going to charge and we're going to come back. And yeah, this is going to be fun. I actually am going to go a different direction. I'm going to see how the navigation does when I change it a little bit. So as it gets up there close to Denver, I'm going to take the other route and see how that does and see what happens, see if it redirects me or whatever it does. See if it keeps the stops on there, just like what I had. I'm sure it will. So again, it's saying that we have 230 miles and 47% and 115 miles. Man, I love this little area. This is a great little park. All right, but let's get on the road. Let's test this out, see how it does. This is awesome. Woohoo! I got this other camera back there, and it's going to be going the whole time. One of these days, I may live stream one of these road trips, but right now, that's one thing I haven't figured out how to have Wi-Fi in here yet. So, but there is free connectivity, but it's connectivity for the car, I think. I haven't really figured out the Wi-Fi. If some of you guys know how to do that, this is a 2015 Tesla, let me know. So let me know in the comments. Let's do this. Road trip test. First time in a Tesla. Woohoo! Alright, I'm gonna actually take a little detour here. I'm gonna see how it handles. Taking a little detour since going directly through downtown is gonna be a lot of traffic. So I'm gonna go this way and see if it redirects me properly.
In 500 feet, keep left at the fork.
There it goes.
Now keep left at the fork.
Redirecting me. But it's saying it's going to be about the same amount of time. So that's kind of interesting. So I thought I was going to save myself some time, but I guess not. Oh well. But I do like the autopilot in here though. It's actually really, really cool. So this is the very first autopilot, and it is recognizing things properly. I do have to apply my hands on the steering wheel every once in a while. But, you know, it doesn't have all the extra cameras. It just kind of has front and back and some sensors. But it'll change lanes for me if it's able to. It's normally going to do that. There it goes. It'll change lanes for me, which is actually... my truck still can't do that. So this is 10 years older than my truck and seems to be working a little better. Although the truck, Blue Cruise, is hands-free. This is like somewhat hands-free. So that's kind of interesting. All right, well, let's keep going. All right, we just got to Buc-ee's here. Let me show you. Look at this. Doesn't look that big from here, but that's only like maybe half of the gas pumps right there in front. We'll go in, I'll show you what it's all about in a second. So now I'm just gonna show you like how it did and everything, how many miles we got, and see where we're at. So come in here to trips, and we drove 120.7 miles, and we used only 29.6 kilowatt hours. So that's actually really good. And then let's see where we are on the percentage. It's over here it says 118 miles. And then again, we come over here, you click on display, and we can turn this from distance to percentage. So we are exactly 50%. So we drove highway speeds for 120.7 miles, and then we used up 50% of the battery. So that's really good. I think that's really, really good. So since we got to go back to the springs, since I got to use another 50%, I don't want to drain it out of zero before I go to another thing. So I'm going to charge it up a little bit here while we're actually going inside and get some free supercharging. And yeah, this is pretty awesome. Actually, I am really excited. So this is, so far, it's been a really, really successful test. This means to me that the battery is actually doing really, really well. 120 miles on 50%. And that's, again, that's highway speeds. I wasn't 75 the whole time. I was 75. I was going 75 about 75% of the time, like going right through Denver there. I did have to slow down because of traffic and slower speed limits, but most of the time I was able to go 75, and there was a few times I had to go 65 whenever it was going through a little town. But I think that's pretty cool. I could totally take this on a trip. So let me show you how easy this is. This is one of the reasons why I actually like Tesla. They got it figured out. Normally, if I'm in my Lightning, I have to get on my app and pull it up and then find the right thing and then click on something and turn it on and everything like that. Now, I know Ford has the plug and play. The problem with that is that if you have a membership if you have the Tesla membership, you get cheaper prices, like almost 10 cents like per kilowatt hour cheaper. So it's actually better to go through the app. So then it just takes a few minutes. But here, I could just get right out of the car and, plug it in and go. So let me show you how easy this is. And then we're going to go in here, Buc-ee's, and I'll tell you what that's all about. All you got to do is push this little button here. Just a little button there to release it. And because you push the button, it'll open it up for you. And it's saying something about, okay, so it actually says on my watch, it gave me a little warning. Charge cable not fully secure. Please adjust the connection to improve charging. All right, so we're gonna undo it, and then we're gonna try again here. I just got through saying how easy it was. And you wait till the color comes on there. There it goes. So it's doing it again. So normally, this is the first time I've ever heard of this happening, but it's just saying charge cable not fully secure again. So let me try again. All right, so let's go to a different one. So this one actually, if you look at it here, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I wonder if somebody ran into it or something. So let's go to a different one, see if I can get that fixed. All right, so we're gonna go over here to this one. See if this will help us. All right. Normally, if one of them is not working, it would actually have it right here, but I didn't see anything like that. So let's try again. Again, all you do is that. Let's see if that gets a better connection. Flashing blue, that's good. And now it's flashing green. So it's pretty easy to do this, but I guess that one over there, I don't know what was wrong with it. So, all right, so let's go in here to Buc-ee's and let's see what it's all about. You can watch some of my other videos, and I already kind of went through Buc-ee's and went to what was supposed to be the world's largest Buc-ee's at the time. Maybe this one actually got built afterwards and got bigger, but yeah, let's check it out and see how big it is. They're all big, no matter how big they say they are. They're all big. Let's do this. Just got through walking through the parking lot, and then it told me you've charged enough to continue your trip. I just think that's funny. So don't even have enough time to walk in here before it already starts. And they already got Christmas stuff. Then we got dressed up like a beaver. Lots of sodas, drinks. We got all kinds of brisket, meat sandwiches. Look at this. Look at this bakery. Call that a paddle. I'm gonna guess that's a big cinnamon roll looking thing. Apparently, they got cinnamon rolls. More versions of cinnamon rolls. More versions of beef jerky. Check this out. The wall of gummy bears. That's crazy. If you come over here, it just looks like a regular little gas station right here. All right, we easily got up to 80% while I was in there. It just took a while. It's a lot to explore, as you saw. So I'll show you in a minute. I got the girls some fudge, but it's pretty easy to undo this. All you got to do is click the little button right there, and then it'll release. There you go. It's pretty awesome. Put it back, it automatically closes. Check this out. Got some fudge and some fudge there, and some brownies for my kids and my wife. Woo! Just like it alerted me on my watch, it'll actually alert you here. You have enough charging to continue your trip. We didn't have to get all the way up to 80%, but we did. So now it's saying we have enough because it knows the next trip is Buc-ee's, which is where we are. Let's go ahead and end that trip. And then now we're going to navigate down to, where are we going to go? We're going to go to another charger. And let's see, we are right about here. So we're going to go all the way back down to Colorado Springs, and we're going to charge here. That is saying we're going to have 34% when we get back. So remember, on the way up here, it was saying that it took about 50%. That could be the case because we're not going as far as where we started. But anyway, so we'll get back on the road here. And yeah, I'm excited. So I hope you're enjoying this little road trip. So we're going to see how it does. Now it's going to get down to 34%. So instead of 50%, so then I'm going to actually show you the charging speeds on the next one. I didn't show you on this one because I didn't think I needed to be here that long. So, all right, I'll show you on the next one. Let's get on the road. All right, we made it here to the next charger, and actually it did a lot better. I actually had to drive around a lot more than I thought, but we got here and it is at 20%, but trips is where I want to show you. So 250 miles. So we drove another 130 miles and it got down to 20%. So that's 60% of the battery to get another 130 miles. So it was a little less efficient coming back to Colorado Springs here. Now what I'm going to do is let's plug it in and let's see how well how fast it actually charges, because I'm really curious. It seems to, whenever it gets down to 20% or below, it's supposed to actually have a faster charging speed. So let's see if it does that. So these are the newer ones. So yeah, you just push the button like I did and put it in there. Make sure it's going. All right, now it's charging. Let's see what we got. 20%, 94 kilowatts. It said 94. Now it's saying 90, 87, 86. So we're already back up to 21%. So that's something to note. It does charge slower whenever it's higher, and it does charge faster whenever it's lower. So like there are a lot of people I was reading up about, usually they just keep their battery low and they'll just let it get down into the teens and it'll actually charge a lot quicker. So that's kind of the strategy, I think, for road trips. As long as you just make sure that you charge it. So it's basically stopping more and charging it whenever it's in the teens, and that way it actually charges faster speed. Right now we're down to about 79 and 80. So it's going to hang out around that amount, I think, until it hits about 50%, I'm guessing. We'll see. Maybe it'll taper off. Now it's 78. So it'll probably taper off a little bit. But once it hits 50%, we're charging it more like 40 to 50 kilowatt hours. So anyways, I think this has been a very successful road trip test. So test success. So stay tuned for those road trip videos. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and driving across the country for free. And that's pretty cool. Now, just to let you know, my truck actually does get much better range than this car, but I think it's actually going to, and it charges faster because I have the extended range battery and everything for, between charging stops. So I won't have to charge as much if I took my Ford Lightning, but then this is free supercharging. But anyways, I was excited to know that the battery on this thing is awesome. So 240 miles. Let's see. Let me just double check here. Yeah, so about 230, 240 miles, and that's highway speeds. So that's pretty good. And it's not seeming like there's much degradation in this battery like I thought there was originally. So I'm actually excited. So this thing's going to be able to go on trips. It's going to be awesome. All right, we're back, and I hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun, going to Buc-ee's and just driving back and forth and testing it out. And it looks like it would be okay for a road trip, but in colder weather, it actually, so I'll probably have to stop. It like did 120 miles for 50%. But as you know, with EVs, you don't charge them all the way up to 100%. I started at 100%, and you don't always charge them all the way up to 100%. Usually it's like max of 80. So we're going to have about 100 to 120 miles of usable range in between, maybe 150 max in between charges. So that's something to notice. So the question is which one should I take on a road trip? Which one do you think I should take? Put it in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm making the right decision. All right. Or we're going to find out on a future video for sure. But what I'm going to tell you now is the difference. Here's the difference between them. This Tesla is a 2015 Tesla, and it's rated for 230 miles. This truck is a 2023 F-150 Lightning Lariat extended range battery, and it is rated for 320 miles. So then you could tell this one actually is going to have about 50% more range. So that's a plus. This has higher range. The other thing is, if you noticed in the charging on this one has slower charging. If I get it down to about below 20%, it charges at about 90 kilowatt speed, but then it quickly reduces it down, and around 50%, it's only charging about 50 kilowatt speed, and it goes even lower the higher I go. This truck, as you've seen on many other videos that I've done, it'll start out at about 170 kilowatt speed, and then it'll go down to maybe about 120 kilowatt speed. And then once it hits 80%, it goes down below that. So it actually charges a lot faster. It's a bigger battery. It's a 131 kilowatt hour battery versus the 85 kilowatt hour battery here. So those are two differences. The other differences, though, these are really, really big for a road trip, is that this one, speaking of charging, has free supercharging. Okay? Free supercharging. All right, so that means everywhere we go, we just plug it into a supercharger and it's free. That's a big plus. This truck, we will have to pay for the supercharging, or we can, but the cool thing with this one is we could actually charge wherever. We could charge it at pretty much any chargers that are out there. Electrify America, Tesla, we have all that. I have memberships for all of those, so we can actually charge there, but it will cost. So it's going to cost To do a 4,000-mile road trip or so, it's probably going to cost us about $600 on charging. Maybe. The other thing is it just depends on the pricing, because pricing adjusts everywhere, and then depends on how much free charging we can get at hotels. Okay, so now that's the other difference. But here's the big difference for a road trip. This may sound dumb, but cup holders. Are you kidding me? Tesla, there's like two in the front, and maybe I can get a third out of it. That's just not the best for a road trip. So basically, you have a drink, and then that's it. And then if you have a passenger, they have a drink, and then my elbow's kind of bumping on it. So that is a negative thing. This thing with cup holders, I have one, two, three, four, five, six, and I can even make seven accessible to me, like from the driver's seat. And there's probably a total about 14 or 15 throughout the truck. So that's good. Good job, Ford, on road trip for that. The other thing, the difference is this has free connectivity. So like if I like, it'll like do the maps and all of that, like its own connectivity if we get on there with the Tesla Theater. So that's really, really cool, where you can actually get on there and do Netflix and everything like that. But it doesn't have Wi-Fi that I've been able to figure out. Maybe some of you may know how to do this with the 2015 Tesla, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do the Wi-Fi on there, or get it where you can set up a device with the Wi-Fi. So with trips, that's actually a big deal to me, because we're traveling. It's basically like a mobile office. That's what this truck has. I have unlimited Wi-Fi. They have it really cool through AT&T. It's like 200 and something dollars a year. I love traveling in the truck for that. So we have the free Wi-Fi. The other difference is, speaking of the truck, is that we have to plan the trip out better. We have to go in there. We have to like figure out where we're going to stop. What are we going to do? So it takes a little bit longer to do the trip, like planning with this truck. With the Tesla, you just enter it in the destination in the car, and it'll tell you where to go. But here's a hack for you that I just figured out. Thank you to my wife for showing me yesterday. But basically, if you want to actually travel with that, and you want to use the ease of actually what Tesla offers, you just go on your phone and you search for Tesla Trip Planner. And I wasn't able to find it in the app, so I couldn't use the Tesla app for this for a different vehicle. But I could do it with my Tesla vehicle. But if I'm going to use a different vehicle, you go online and you search for the Tesla Trip Planner. It'll take you to that website. You enter in your destination, and then what you do is it'll ask you what vehicle you have. So what you do is you just select a vehicle that has similar range to what you have. So that's the part of the hack. So you do have to select a Tesla vehicle. So I selected a Cybertruck with 320 miles of range on mine, and then you select your destination and your current location. So it'll plan the trip for you. So that's really, really cool. So that kind of eliminates a little bit of the problem with not taking a Tesla if I wanted to take the truck. So we're going to get going on a road trip, but you're going to have to watch the next video to find out which one I actually take. And I want to hear in the comments which one you think I should take. Oh, here's the other thing. They both are comfortable, but the truck is a little bit more comfortable for me than the car, but it's actually not that bad, but it actually is a little bit more comfortable, and there just seems to be more room. And there's also tons of room for storage, like in the front trunk and in the back. This does have a front trunk, but it's smaller. So those are a few other things. But let me know in the comments if you know any other differences, and which one do you think I should take? Should I pay for my charging and actually get there quicker? Because that's the other difference. This is about a 2-hour difference or more from the amount of times we have to stop with the Tesla versus the truck. So that's something else to think about. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think I should do, and then I will see you on the road on the next video.